Hello, this is Fear Dragon, and welcome to Breaking Out, the show about North American StarCraft 2 players. Here on this show, we take a look at an up-and-coming North American talent. Each week, we check out a new player to get a feel for their personality and their playstyle. On Thursday, we interview the player to find out more about who they are and why you should care about them. On Friday, we watch 3 of their games as we cover their playstyle in each of the 3 matchups. Saturday, we take a look at an awesome game they played and relax with a little bit of fun as we recap the week and get an analysis of the games. Breaking Out will cover 8 players before it culminates into the Breakout Invitational. With a minimum prize pool of $1,000, we find out who is the most likely player to break out of the North American scene. But enough of that. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Hello, this is Fear Dragon, and welcome to Breaking Out, the show about North American StarCraft 2 players that you need to know about. Today on the show, we're going to be taking a look at the awesome game submitted by Complexity Gaming's Hendralisk, but before we get into that, we're actually going to go ahead and introduce our awesome co-caster for the day. It is going to be Master Dulk. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself, man?
Not too bad. I got StarCraft in front of me and already rolling. And yeah, Dulk is actually an amazingly awesome guy. He does casting, he does adminning, he helps out with organizations for tournaments. He's just like an amazing guy. Definitely go check him out. But Dulk, let's go ahead and jump in and introduce the players as we spawn down here in the bottom side of the map, Polar Knight, on top of the red Terran player. He's going to be the enemy, but in a sense, actually a little bit of a friend, because he is also representing Team Complexity. It is Drunken Boy.
And over on the north position of Polar Knight here, we have the man of the hour and of the week. It is our Teal Zerg player. As you said, also representing Complexity Sound Blaster, it is Hendralisk.
Indeed, and you know, this is an interesting game, Dulk, because I was kind of telling you about this right before we started, but this is actually labeled, this replay was labeled, improving my worst matchup. So Hendralisk is playing against his teammate Drunken Boy and working to try and get his, his what he considers his worst matchup to become a little bit better. So this is a really cool glimpse into some of the practice that goes into being a pro gamer.
Yeah, and you know, I can kind of understand where he's coming from as saying that ZVT is his worst matchup because, you know, like up here in Toronto we have this other player named Masa.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You see, he has this tendency to be able to consistently beat Hendralisk. So we can even see right now that Drunken Boy is actually playing so far like Masa's style. He went for the Reaper first, and depending on how many Reapers he makes, we'll be seeing that like Drunken Boy is actually trying to do focus practice here for his teammate.
Yeah, that actually sounds entirely possible, and you know, we'll have to see how does Hendralisk kind of respond. Hendralisk, again, as you were saying, has played in a lot of lands up there in Canada, as I know that you are from Canada and you actually attend a lot of those lands, but as you were saying, like Masa just kind of has Hendralisk's number a lot of the time. And I actually want to give a shout out also to Total Biscuits Clan Wars, where Hendralisk actually played Masa very recently and actually managed to beat him. I was so happy to see that because I know that he's been struggling against Masa a lot.
Yeah. Well, it looks like the first Reaper for Drunken Boy is going to be getting in here. A couple Zerglings are going to start getting Spawn Queens on the way, and so far, nice drone micro to keep these alive. Looks like even going to return the minerals, and then now that he has 4 Zerglings, should be able to keep this away so long as he can keep those Zerglings on creep. It looks like he's not going to be opting to get Metabolic Boost like he does most of the time versus Reapers, but I guess he's guessing that there's only going to be the 1 Reaper here from Drunken Boy, so he's just going to be opting to delay Metabolic Boost to 4:30 like a usual time.
And he's actually done a great job. He may... Oh no, actually the Queen pops up. I was going to say he may end up losing 1 drone with a natural expansion, but that Reaper is sitting on 0 kills, which is honestly... It's what a Zerg player should be doing. They shouldn't lose any drones. But still, you see time and time again these great Terran players like Drunken Boy, like Masa, like anybody. I mean, you can even up to the Korean levels of Teja and whatnot, getting drone kills against Zerg players consistently, and it's just so cool to see when these Zerg players are able to kind of micro their way out of it.
Yeah, and it looks like now Metabolic Boost about halfway done here. More Zerglings are on the way, so it looks like Henry here, he's just going to be going around and poking, just trying to get as much map control, seize the map, and make sure that more Reaper shenanigans can't happen. Hellion shenanigans can't happen either. And it seems like, actually, with a Tech Lab going down, again, you know, Drunken Boy looking to be doing that focus practice, copying Masa style. He's going to be going for a Cloak Banshee as well as Hellions. And in fact, I actually saw this happen at the last Torcraft Cup a couple weeks ago, in fact. And, you know, it works pretty good, and Hendralisk did seem to have a little bit of trouble with it.
Yeah, it is a pretty old school style to go for this kind of Reactor Hellion into Cloak. Well, actually, even Banshees without Cloak, that is still an old school sort of Wings of Liberty style, and it can catch a lot of these Zerg players off guard. I know it's been popping a little bit back up in popularity recently. But yeah, what is Hendralisk actually doing? How prepared is he going to be for this, do you think?
Well, right now he's expanding out to his third currently. The only anti-air that he has are the Queens. So he's not going to be as prepared for the Banshee, but it seems like without Cloak, he might be able to do okay. He's going to be getting up a couple extra Queens. And he can do decently well with this, so long as he can micro his units properly. And, well, it looks like he's actually gathering up his Queens out by his third.
This is actually a very scary looking push. I mean, even a couple of Marines added in there just make it so much more difficult to actually deal with, because, I mean, the Hellions, they don't really do too well against the Queens. The Banshees can do okay against the Queens, but doesn't really want to fight them head on. The Marines, though, they can actually do a little bit better, and Hendralisk tries to go for a little bit of a run by. Is actually going to force some of these SCVs off the line. That's going to at least help even out any kind of economic damage that he takes for a little bit.
That bunker is empty, so I'm not completely agreeing with trying to repair, but it looks like Drunken Boy has arrived over here at Hendralisk's fourth, and Zerglings are coming in 2 by 2, and that's not quite what you want. You want them coming all at the same time. Queen's already getting rid of that Banshee, and now with just Marines and Hellions, looks like Hendralisk should be able to hold here. And, you know, with just 4 Hellions left, a lot of Zerglings, Henry has held this very well.
He's done a great job with it, and actually just after those Marines are cleaned up, this is kind of put an end to the push. The Hellions weren't really going to be able to do too much outside of trying to get a couple extra Zergling kills in. I mean, Drunken Boy's doing a good job kind of scooting and shooting, keeps 2 of those Hellions alive, which honestly, considering how many Zerglings we had pop out for Hendralisk, that's actually pretty impressive, but still, I have to say that Drunken Boy is not looking to be in an amazing position after losing all those units, and really not doing a whole lot of damage outside of forcing out a lot of Zerglings.
Yeah, and even with so many Zerglings left over as well, it'll allow Hendralisk to just have them, keep them running around the map, and also just being a little bit more safe because he doesn't need to invest in more Zerglings should another attack come. And it looks like, you know, Hendralisk, he knows that. He's going to be getting up his lair now and getting a Bangling Nest, as well as getting 2 Evolution Chambers. So it looks like with the extra gases going down, I don't think it will be quite for Spire, as we do have those 2 Evolution Chambers down. It could possibly be Infestation Pit Tech. It could.
That'd actually be really interesting. The Bangling Nest makes me think that there will eventually maybe be a Spire. Because I'm so used to seeing the Bangling Mutilus style. But I agree. I think that he's gonna he's looking like he just wants to invest that early gas into these upgrades. I think that's gonna be a really cool move just into that late game. But man, I love these little Viking moves that Terran players always do, where they kind of just go Overlord hunting with these Vikings. I mean, it's been done for a while now, but it just never gets old to me.
Yeah, and he should be actually able to get possibly 1 Overlord, but then, you know, 2 Queens right there might actually lose that Viking. Looks like Hendralisk actually going to be taking his 4th over in the back. I like that. You know, it's a free base over there. Just kill the ice and then take it.
And he had the Zerglings left over from that defense, so it works out very well.
Yeah. Well, Overlord will go down, but Viking very close to dying and will die as well.
That Viking, I mean, generally, I know Terran players wish that they could get like 17 Overlord kills over the course of the game, but oh, look at this! Hendra's going with a big Zergling run by over into the natural expansion, and the supply depot lowered at the moment. Drunken Boy decides to lower another supply depot. Not sure where that was going, but the Zerglings do get cleaned up. He's gonna actually end up okay. He loses a couple of Marines, but no big deal.
And right now, it looks like it will in fact be the Spire after all, and just seeming to delay it, let his 1-1 for his Zerglings and Banelings get up, and then continue with it. And Drunken Boy, he's going to be going for a push. There is a Widow Mine under there. Going to be taking out about half of those Zerglings.
Man, 12 kills.
Oh, that one Widow Mine could have gotten such an amazing shot on those Banelings, but looks like the Banelings get to live again.
Yeah, and look at actually in Hendralisk's main base, just below his actual hatchery. I mean, he has a bunch of Zerglings and Banelings just sitting there on patrol, ready for drops right now.
Yeah.
I think that he is very much just trying to prepare for any kind of aggression. He knows he just needs to hold on because he's going to have really sick upgrades out. He's going to also have those Mutals popping out very soon. It's all about just defending, and not really trying to be too aggressive off of creep.
Yep, right now, look, Hendralisk, he needs to try getting some good Baneling hits. It looks like Drunken Boy has been pretty good with his splitting. Should try getting that Widow Mine. Oh, not actually going to be able to, but Baneling's getting nice connections there, but still about half the Marines left, and Drunken Boy is going to keep on pushing forward. About 30 Zerglings are going to be popping soon, and a couple Mulists going to be joining the fray as well, so it looks like Hendralisk, he's going to be trying to hold this, but right now there is a lot of Marines here.
Oh no, did Hendralisk try and play a little bit too greedy, getting up that 4th expansion, delaying those Mutals for such a long time? It looks like the Marines getting very, very clumped up. They're getting a great position against the Zerglings, but a couple of Banelings do change the tide of that engagement. And Hendralisk is going to clean up, and amazingly enough, he really hasn't lost many drones in this game. Actually, he hasn't lost any drones in this game. That's kind of allowed him to sit at a comfortable 75, and now with the Mutals out, I feel like it's going to be very, very difficult for Drunken Boy to play further out into this game unless he can find some way to get some damage done, because Hendralisk has basically been really touched in terms of his economy. He's lost units in the defense, but he's done a pretty good job of defending.
Yeah, and you know, it bought him time to have 1-1 finish up, have Centrifugal Hooks finish up as well, and now he's going to be getting 2-2, and +1 Flyer Attack's also going to be finishing up too, and you know, Hendralisk, he's been doing a great job. He's up a bit in supply and is on 4 bases, so he's just sitting comfortable. He's just going to be going into macro play, just needs to keep defending the aggression and then go from there, really.
Look at this. Drop on the left side of the map, gets cleaned up by those Zerglings and the Mutalists. That's going to be a little bit unfortunate for Drunken Boy, but Drunken Boy takes opportunity, tries to move for a little bit forward onto that creep, maybe try and clear up a little bit of it. Hendralisk darting back into position and really just not kind of giving too much leeway to Drunken Boy. It's actually really great control from both of these players, I have to say, so far.
Yeah. Right now, Hendralisk a little supply blocked at 170. He's going to be morphing in a lot of Banelings here. And it looks like the Marines slowly moving forward. Mines unburrowing, burrowing forward. And now it looks like they're going to be trying to target a couple of the mines early on. But, you know, there's just so many of them. It's kind of hard to deal with it.
Oh my god, that is actually a lot of depth in those Widow Mines. And Hendralisk, not only can he not really engage those Widow Mines straight up without losing a lot of units, and they're off of creep, which makes it even more difficult for Hendralisk to kind of push in over there. But Drunken Boy, he's the one trying to advance forward. I think the Hendralisk is okay buying some time. He needs to make sure he doesn't get too unfavorable of engagements, because Drunken Boy is splitting so freaking well right now.
Yeah, and it looks like Zerglings and Banelings are able to pull the Marines back just a little bit, but still a lot of those Widow Mines unused at the moment. A couple more Banelings going to get morphed in, Zerglings on the way as well, and 2-2 is about to finish up for Zerglings here, and now he's going to be able to deal a lot more damage as well with those Banelings too, so, you know, this next engagement, it might start being in Hendralisk's favor, especially with a 2-prong attack.
Yeah, he's trying to come in from the bottom side. Oh, the Widow Mines get some great hits off on all those Banelings, but I will say that all of those Widow Mines, for the most part, did get cleaned up. Only a couple left over, and now Hendralisk can actually push across the map.
Yeah, and Zerglings just swarming across the map here. Mutalisk's going to be trying to pick off these Medivacs. Looks like they're going to be boosting away. Oh, one Medivac is boosting back. That was interesting bait there, and it looks like the Thor going to be able to clean up a couple of the Zerglings and Banelings, but still just more and more Zerg is heading across this map with every second.
Ooh. Yeah, well, majority of the Overseers do get cleaned up. That may be able to push Hendralisk back for a little bit, but I mean, Drunken Boy is losing a lot of those Medivacs. He just lost a bunch of those SCVs. As we can see, 20 SCVs have been killed off. I believe that about 15 killed just in those last couple of Banelings at the 3rd expansion. Yeah. And now Hendralisk, I mean, he's sitting at 88 drones. Master Dog, is there a certain point where you just say that Zerg is over-droning?
No.
Because he's still droning. He just went up to 87.
Well, you know, if you're Zergling Bane, I don't know, they can just make them spine crawlers later. So there's no real over-drone for me, because you just throw down stuff and then you get supply back. But right now, it looks like Drunken Boy going to try making another push. One Widow Mine going to get a shot off, but going to be losing it in a Zergling run by across the map for Drunken Boy's base as well.
Yeah, it's doing a lot of damage, and honestly, even if it's not killing off a lot of SCVs, which it actually is killing off a handful, it's also just slowing down the reinforcements, and it gives Hendralisk time to lose a lot of balance with those Widowmine shots, but it looks like the Mutiles count is just high enough. He's going to be able to clean up. He has to be careful about those Widowmines with those Mutiles. Oh, he does not want to take too many hits from those.
Yep, and it looks like Hendralisk is going to be trying to get up a 5th base behind this. Will clear off that one Widowmine. Good job there, and about 30 more Zerglings about to pop, 20 Banelings as well, and Hendralisk, he just is constantly resupplying his army, and Hive is going to be finishing up soon as well, so 3-3 will be on the way shortly. And right now it looks like Hendralisk is going to be going for another attack here, and, you know, there's not a lot of Marines left on the ground.
There really aren't, and Drunken Boy kind of recognizes that. He's going to go ahead and back up and loads up a lot of those Marines in the medevacs, and actually taps out.
GG!
GG gets called, and Hendralisk's gonna take the game. And honestly, that was a really, really sick game that we just saw with Dalk. I don't know, that was really, really cool. And I think that, I should ask, do you think that that was a game in preparation for maybe a Masa style play where the Terran player is constantly trying to be aggressive?
I'd like to say so. Like that. Yeah. It wasn't quite Masa style, right? Because Masa, he's very interesting with his Reaper counts and Banshee counts.
Masa just does weird things to mess with you, but
it's still definitely the same basic style. There is the biomine pushes. They're constantly happening. I feel like Drunken Boy, if he had a couple more drops, it would have worked a bit better. But it obviously, like Hendralisk, he was prepared for that as well as you said earlier in the game. There was Zerglings just running back and forth in the main base just in case of a drop. And this map, it has a lot of pathways, and Drunken Boy, he kept going through the same one, which I feel was his major downfall in it, and that allowed Hendralisk, like, oh yeah, I just check this place, and then I'm good. But definitely, it was very similar to a Masa play style, and you know, Hendralisk, even if it wasn't exactly like Masa style, it's definitely close to it, so that if he can start working on swarming over this Terran, then it's like a slow build-up to the actual opponent kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really, really great way of putting it. And, you know, I've got to say, Angel's impressed me, and I think that, hey, you know what? Maybe these games practice for the Shellcraft Clan Wars or something. Maybe these helped him out against Masa. Who knows? But with that being said, that is actually going to put an end to the awesome game of the week. So, Master Dalk, I want to actually thank you again for coming on. And where can people actually catch you at?
Well, they can catch me on Twitter at MASTERDALK, and you know, pretty much there because I gallivant around, right? Like, I'm doing this now. I'll be doing HSL on Saturday. Like, I'm all over the place. So if you follow me on Twitter, you'll get to see the escapades of myself and also what the stream links of stuff that I'm doing is.
Exactly. Guys, go ahead and follow him on Twitter because you will basically be... sometimes you kind of think about, like, well, what's the value in following somebody on Twitter? Sometimes you follow a caster, like, okay, yeah, I can get a couple updates about when they're casting something. When you follow a Dalk, you're getting information about, like, random admin things that could be going on, like decisions being made about tournaments. You're getting information about, like, casts that are going on for the High School Star League, all this other kind of stuff. You're getting so much value out of following Dalk on Twitter, so go ahead and give him a follow. But with that being said, Dalk, once again, thank you for coming on. We're going to be jumping into the next segment, which is going to be the arcade segment with Hendralisk. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be there in just a couple of seconds with the magic of editing.
Yay!
Stay tuned.